Welcome to the Interview Preparation Podcast. Whenever you have an interview, it is important you present the best version of yourself. Some people are naturals, but for most of us, we can improve our performance with a little help and advice. In the following episodes, I'm going to do just that. My name is David Summers. I've been a professional pilot for over 30 years, with experience in both airline and business aviation. I decided to record this podcast after my preparation for an interview for a captain's position. I realised that up to that point, my interview preparation had not been the best, and I had to up my game for this particular opportunity. I set out to research potential questions and come up with an effective approach. This series of podcasts is the result of that research. My approach to an interview is to answer questions with reference to the core competency matrix. As a professional pilot, you will have previously encountered this matrix. Take this seriously, as it is the key tool to your self-development. Non-technical questions. These are the ones that give you the chance to sell yourself, to convince your prospective employer that you are the candidate that possesses the qualities they want. They are the subject of this episode. These are the questions you need to think most carefully about, to prepare the most for. Technical questions are either right or wrong. You just need to know the answer. Non-technical questions are much harder to answer. So how are we going to approach this? Well, let's turn to the core competency matrix. These are the group of behaviours that define how to be an effective pilot, and more importantly, an effective operator. If they define how we should be as pilots, then at interview we need to demonstrate that we exhibit them. This is your focus during the interview. When you construct your answers to the questions I pose, have the core competency matrix in front of you and weave elements of it into your narrative. Concentrate on how your actions demonstrated elements of the matrix. Bring to the forefront of your answers elements of the 5 most relevant to interviews, namely leadership and teamwork, communication, workload management, situational awareness, and problem solving and decision making. This might be quite challenging, but persevere and you'll soon get the hang of it. Aim to be clear and concise with your answers and ensure they have structure. Start with what the situation was, what your contribution was, then crucially, how your input improved the situation and the core competencies you used. Before I deliver the second set of questions, let's recap. Relate your answers to the core competency matrix. Be clear, concise, ensure your answers have structure. Concentrate on how you did things and how your experience improved you. So now the questions. What attracted you to this role? Describe a time you had to recover a difficult customer service situation. What are your weaknesses? Can you tell us about this company? What have you done to make a difference or go above and beyond? What's the best advice you'd give? What is the best advice you have received? Have you flown an aircraft that developed technical problems and how did you deal with it? Tell us about a difficult CRM situation. Tell us about a difficult situation you turned around. What qualities would you bring to this company? What are your strengths? What lessons have you learned from mistakes? Tell us about yourself. What challenges do you have ahead of you? What have you done as a team? Can you give me an example of when you made a mistake and how you recovered from it? Can you give me an example of when you communicated effectively? As a pilot, what are your challenges on a day-to-day basis? When have you challenged or disagreed with a colleague? What qualities would you bring to this company? Why do you want to work for this company? What is your briefing style? How do you get the best out of the people you work with? What is the difference in skills between a captain and a first officer? What would be your initial actions following an engine failure on takeoff? These questions have been designed to challenge your thinking, to direct you to think with core competencies in mind. You may get different questions to the ones posed here, but if you can answer them, you will be well on your way to a new job. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Pilot Interviewed podcast. I hope you found it useful. If you have, please rate it and review it. If you want to share your interview experiences and what you've learned from them, the address is in the show notes. You can also contact me if you want any advice on your upcoming interview.